state your full name and spell?
Ishishi Judy Ponca Awali. Judy is my Ponca name. I'm a member of the Ponca Nation of Oklahoma. My English name is Casey Camp-Horinek. CASEYHORINEK.
Perfect. And do you give permission for the U.S. Human Rights Network to use this video for media purposes, to edit it as necessary, and to publish it to the United Nations as part of the Universal Periodic Review process?
Yes.
Wonderful. Okay, would you please give me the story of your human rights violations?
I don't know how long you feel comfortable with this story being, but being an indigenous woman, being a Ponca woman, nothing has started with me, and it certainly doesn't end with me. But in the 1800s, I have to go back that far and I'll move quickly forward. The Ponca Nation of Oklahoma was located in northern Nebraska, southern South Dakota, in a series of 3 treaties that were never honored. We ceded the majority of our homelands to be able to remain on a very small area. That area being around the Niobrara and the Missouri River, where they came together. Due to what, there's a plaque in Nebraska now, which our name is Ni-Badaska. Ni-Badaska. Ni is water, Badaska is flat, so that's the land of flat water for us. The United States mistakenly, I hate these air quotes, but it works here, mistakenly gave away what was left of the Ponca land to the Lakota because they were trying to put a railroad through, because there was gold in the hills, and those were a much larger people. As a result, my people were forcibly removed from that land, even though we had a township, including a church, which wasn't our natural ways, but we were complying. We had a school, we had a lumber mill, we had farming grounds, we had homes. My grandfather was 8 years old on that walk. I don't know if any of you can imagine an 8-year-old walking with his people for 650 miles. But that's what happened to all of our people. 1 in 3 died on that trip of my relatives. We were known, my oldest nephew is called Siwani, bleeding feet, in honor of those that were forced down to Oklahoma. And because the neighboring tribes said that we left our footprints in blood in their agencies, that's how they knew that the Poncas had been through. Because of course our moccasins wore out. We had to leave there with only what we could carry on our backs. I have one blind auntie, Aunt Louisa, that my youngest daughter's named for, that carried her dead younger brother all the state of Kansas because Indians couldn't be buried there. But when my people got to Oklahoma, 1 in 3 of us died again because of the change in climate and the change in diet when we were put on that POW camp called a reservation. We had, prior to the forced removal, we were people who hunted and farmed. So then we get down here and they'd made us leave all of our hunting implements and our farming implements up there, so we were dependent on this stuff called commodities. We had never had dairy or salt, sugar, fat. None of those were in our diet, white flour, any of that. So now, as a result of that, a few generations back, my mama was the first generation born in Oklahoma. Then we have this giant diabetic rate in our tribe, and there are many, many, many layers that go into being Native American, that go into being Ponca in this contemporary life in 2010. To try to maintain any of our identity is a struggle. The boarding schools, I'm sure everybody's aware of those issues. My mama was kidnapped when she was 6 by the Bureau of Indian Affairs into a boarding school situation. And I always talk about that one girl. I always hear about that one girl named Jessie Dugard or something like that. Maybe that's her. But there was one Mormon up there in Utah about 2 years ago that they had big presses on all the time. She was kidnapped for 9 months by these people who sexually abused her and mentally abused her and changed her way of dress and changed the way she thought. Well, that's how we lived. That was our way. They took all of our kids. Took our language, and they took the way we dress, the way we wear our hair, even the way we pray in Oklahoma. You can't have, we're traditional Sundance people, pipe carriers, but that's outlawed in Oklahoma. So there's just layer after layer after layer. It's hard to get to the point I want to get to because I have to tell you how we got there. The Bureau of Indian Affairs, which at that time in the early 1900s, late 1800s, was put together under the War Department. Now it's under Department of Interior, so we're with Parks and Wildlife, which is better than war, I guess. But it is being born with someone else having power of attorney over you, the BIA is, so that all of first, the Allotment Act, where they took our common Ponca land and cut it into squares and told us, okay, each one of you live on one square, now you own that. Okay, now we're going to lease that for you to so-and-so, which we didn't understand ownership of the land, we didn't understand leases, we didn't understand bill of sales. But okay, BIA signs this paper. We didn't even read English, you know, we still spoke our traditional language at that time. So all of these leases were made without us, so these ranchers were eating our land up this way because written into these leases, like for my grandmother who had 160 acres, when my grandpa died, written into that lease, unbeknownst to her, was a bill of sale, and there was nobody to go to. She, you know, this is the BIA sign. Well, did you sign it? She's like, well, yeah, I mean, I signed it. So lost that. Everybody did. Then in the 70s, they gave us a settlement for our land in Nebraska, and it was a nickel an acre. And this is prime, beautiful, pristine land that none of us can even go back to, not just because we couldn't afford to go buy the land, but because the pain is so great to go visit the land where God put you and know that you can't be there because somebody's going to run you off it, you know. It's real difficult. So with all of these things going on in Ponca country, with the impact of language loss, culture loss, land loss, way of life, on and on and on.